One of the big projects that the students wanted to work on was helping the monarch butterfly. And the adult monarch butterflies drink nectar, and butterflies use their feet to decide if a flower or the nectar is edible, kind of tasting the flower. So they'll land on a flower, so it has to be kind of big. And so sunflowers are big flowers for them to use. This plant is the California bush sunflower, and students chose to plant it to help adult monarch butterflies here in their habitat. Next plant that students chose to plant is California fuchsia. It is a hummingbird plant, provides nectar for hummingbirds. It's a beautiful plant. It will live with almost no water throughout the year. When it gets water, it goes crazy with these beautiful blooms. Every flower, once it is pollinated, becomes fruit. So when this plant gets pollinated, it becomes these little, like almost dandelion-like fruits, and birds go crazy for them. You'll see them line up and fight over eating the fruit on this plant. So this is not only providing food for hummingbirds in the form of nectar, it's providing fruit or seeds for the other native birds during winter when it's most important. This plant is called bladderpod, and specifically hummingbirds use this for nectar. The flowers have evolved to be the perfect hummingbird flower. They grow on the coast here in California, and they grow in Death Valley. Same plant, same species. Just amazing how adaptable this plant is. It kind of has a pretty strong smell, so you don't necessarily want to plant it by your front door, but very beautiful plant, very striking, different than all the rest because of the gray foliage and yellow flowers. Students chose this to help feed the hummingbirds. This plant is called Toyon. It's the Chumash name for the plant, and it's still the common name for the plant. It starts off with yellow, creamy yellow flowers that provide nectar for native bees. And the cool thing about native bees is they don't sting. Honeybees sting. Native bees do not want to sting. The flowers of this plant provide nectar for native bees and hummingbirds. And then those flowers get pollinated and they turn into this fruit. And this fruit is eaten by several different native birds. And the Chumash people also had many uses for the fruit. Beautiful plant. It's also called the holly berry plant. And Hollywood, California is named after this plant because it was so numerous in that area. This native plant is called coyote bush or brush. The students love this plant because of that cool name. It is in the sunflower family, believe it or not. And this particular plant is the female of the species, and the males are a different plant. So that's kind of interesting as far as plants go. You can kind of boil the leaves of this plant, and it will form, it produces like a tea, and you can use that to soothe and start ending rashes from poison oak. It's used to cure poison oak rash. That's awesome. It provides nectar for adult monarch butterflies. And also, right now you're seeing flowers and fruit mixed in on this entire plant. And that's a cool thing about native plants is each species has a different time. Some have flowers in the summer, some have flowers in the winter, some provide fruit in the winter, some provide fruit in the summer. So it's called phenology, or timing of fruiting and flowering. Extremely important if you're a wild animal because you can't eat everything in December only. You need fruit or nectar throughout the year. And so the beautiful thing about native plants is they've evolved to do that. Each plant has its time, and all the plants are slightly different. And that's, I think, one of the most interesting things about native plants to me.